Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and today we're going to be talking about a big part of the zombie storyline that we haven't really answered or even touched on in quite a long time, but it seems like now we have all the information laid out, we can finally make a good thesis statement on what this is going to be. Now, if you guys don't know what we're discussing today, we're going to be talking about the reporter within Black Ops 3 Zombies. If you don't know who it is, just sit back and watch this video, because you're going to find out. I'm going to refresh everybody so we're all on the same page here. Now, we have an absolute ton of information to go over, and I'm working really hard on this video, so if you guys do enjoy this, or if you do find this interesting, be sure to drop a like on it. We are going to aim for 200 likes on this video. You guys absolutely smash it every single time, and you guys know that I would greatly appreciate it. So basically, the big thing that we're going to be discussing today is the reporter, and I believe this is the key to where we're going next in the zombie storyline. So when Shadows of Evil first came out, of course people went around the map and looked for all of the radios, and there was a couple specific radios from a reporter that was talking to a guy named Mr. Rapt, and we never really had confirmation about who this was, or even really too much about the reporter. These were very characters that were pushed back in the storyline, and the only thing we knew from the reporter is that he was looking for strange metals and rocks in Russia, tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and play it ready for you guys right now.
Hey, Mr. Rapt. So I tracked down all the people you asked me to look into. I sent you a telegram with all their details, all their contact numbers. It's not that I'm ungrateful. I know the checks you've given me have been more than generous for services rendered. It's just all this stuff you've had me do. Tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, finding all these strange metals and rocks in Russia. And still, I haven't even met you face to face. I'm sorry, Mr. Rapt. I think maybe the mood in the city is getting to me a little. Making me nervous. Antsy. Anyway, I'm looking forward to you finally getting here.
So we know from that the reporter was communicating with a guy named Mr. Rapt, and he was running services for him, collecting information about a certain group of people, and he would report back to him, and, obviously Mr. Rapt would give him money for it. But we know that the reporter was killed by Richtofen in Shadows of Evil. You can see this picture right here. You can see him behind one of the barriers. He's stabbed in the chest with a letter labeled to M in his hand, and we know this from a cipher in Horizon Drop that Richtofen stabbed him because he came out of this truck with the summon key in the back, and Richtofen told him that he needed it, and the reporter was acting very crazy, so Richtofen, out of self-defense, stabbed him in the chest, and that's why we see him laying over there in that chair. We know that during their time and before the reporter was killed by Richtofen that he got around to a lot of places and took notes on a lot of people, and also sharing all this contact information with Mr. Rapt, who needed it for some reason. We're going to get to that in just a second, but we know that this reporter was in an absolute ton of places. One of the places that he visited and somebody who he met was Stanley Ferguson at Alcatraz. Now that should ring a bell in your mind. I'm going to go ahead and play that radio for you really quick so you know what's going on.
So I just sat down with Stanley Ferguson, night guard at Alcatraz. He told me a heck of a tale. A few years back, 4 inmates, 3 mobsters, and some weasel had this brilliant plan to escape the rock. I know, they sound like real geniuses, these guys. Anyway, this weasel was quite the talker. He had these guys convinced they could escape. He told them he could build a plane, and that together, they'd all fly right off the rock.
What this radio in particular tells us is that we know for a fact how much this reporter has actually gone around and how much ground he's covered in terms of how many people he's talked to, places he's been, and this reporter knows a lot, and this is probably how the Shadow Man has so much knowledge about everybody. The person who hired this reporter named Mr. Rapt is most likely the Shadow Man. He appears as this Mr. Rapt guy, and he even says in the radio that they've never met face to face, so this probably either means that Mr. Rapt doesn't exist at all, or he just takes on some sort of other form, just in case, they ever would happen to meet up. But Mr. Rapt, as it's known to the reporter, is not an actual real person. The Shadow Man has a quote in Revelations where he talks about Richtofen being almost an apprentice of his at one point, and he went so far as to even kill his reporter friend. The Shadow Man, he refers to this reporter as his friend, so they had to have been very close, and they had to have been working together for quite some time. So as you guys are probably picking up by now, this reporter knows a lot more than we previously imagined, and I would even go so far as to say that you guys remember the Easter egg in Horizon Drop with the newspapers that talks about the London outbreak with the zombies, and you can change the message, you can change the headlines as you get more kills with the plunger, and it slowly goes from a parade to a full-on zombie outbreak within London. I would imagine that the reporter was there collecting information as well. We thought for a while that London was going to be a hint towards a DLC map that we were going to be getting within our zombies season, but that never ever happened. You guys know all the DLC maps are out, and we don't have a map set in London, so it was kind of weird that Treyarch threw this Easter egg in there that talked about zombies being in London, and we never got any confirmation or any follow-up to that Easter egg. But I believe that this is part of something much more grand. Think about it. Treyarch has set this up potentially to be like the next groundwork for their storyline. We have this entire realm of, you know, brand new information with Mr. Rapt. We have the reporter. It's still relating to our original timeline and story, but again on its own plane. And I believe that this is a big setup for something they could do in the future. I think if Treyarch were going to set up a brand new part of the storyline, but to continue on for their next game, still relating to the same universe and not throwing away all the things that they've written within these past 8 years, this would be the perfect way to do it. Introduce a couple new characters and a whole new backstory and a whole new perspective on everything, and then they could capitalize and sort of develop on that in the next game. And I do believe that's where it is going. It's just been something in my mind. I thought the reporter was a very shoehorned in character, but he was important to me because he basically predicted all of our DLC maps. You know, as soon as Shadows of Evil came out, if you listen to the radios, he predicted the locations of it, which was very, very cool. So I thought the reporter always had some sort of weight to him, but it was weird that they didn't capitalize on that character in the later DLCs and in those storylines. We didn't really hear, there was no ciphers, no radios, really referring to the reporter until Revelations. I honestly just think that there's a lot more to the reporter and this whole Mr. Rapt dynamic here that we have going, and we didn't really explore it enough in the zombie storyline. We probably have a lot more to discover if we actually, you know, spend some time digging deep into this and, you know, where this is going to go from here on out. But anyway, guys, that is going to be the video for today. These are entirely my thoughts and my speculation on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think the reporter is, and do you think he's going to play a big role in the next storyline of Treyarch or whatever they decide to do with their brand new game? Do you think he's going to play a big role in that? I really don't know, but these are just kind of my thoughts right now. I did want to make a video about this and sort of let you guys know what I was thinking, but other than that, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to leave a like. We are going to go for 200 likes on today's video, and that would be honestly greatly appreciated. But other than that, guys, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you all so much for watching again, and I'll catch you all on the next video.